Irma. Oh. That's it.
Hey, welcome back to the channel. I am really glad you're here because I want to tell you I have a little problem, and it's a problem I've had for a long time. When I wake up in the morning, this isn't personal, by the way. When I wake up in the morning, I have ideas going through my head about what needs to be done, what I'm going to do, what I want to work on, and then I start my day and I get easily distracted, and that's been my entire life, even as a kid in school, which is why I hated school. I hated homework because I don't know, I just didn't always focus that well. My days are like that too now. Like I think, oh, I've got to clean up those branches over there so we can mow because the grass is growing all through them. I've got to get this fence done for Irma because she's getting so big and the garden's growing and she's going to start eating the wildflowers as they come up. So I've got to get that done. But the rest of the fence is not good. It's got a lot of rotten fence posts. So I think I'm just going to put up some temporary fencing and keep her in here. Maybe just put a gate up and then some wire and metal T-posts. I happen to have several metal T-posts. And there's just so many different things. And I wonder, is it wrong to not start something and finish it the same day? Or is it okay to kind of bounce around and do different things? Because ultimately, they all get done. Like everything you do is progress. You know, if I do cut some trees down and cut some limbs and chip some limbs, but I don't cut up all the firewood, I save that for another day, or if I mow some, and it's just so many different things. But in my mind, it's all getting done. It's just nothing really looks done because it's not done yet. Anyway, I'm just going to do a few things today, and maybe you just want to hang out. installed it, I knew that 8-inch branch was going to be too much for this thing, but it had been sitting out here for so long, I figured it was nice and dry, and then I also dialed down the feed rate as slow as it would go. Like, it was just creeping forward. But what happens with this hydraulic feed is it doesn't, when it has pressure on it, it doesn't seem to turn at a consistent rate. It kind of jumps forward and stops, jumps forward and stops, which is okay. But when you get to the end and the big part of that branch gets under that take-in wheel, it kind of slides it forward quickly, and that's what happened. It started to go in real quick and then stalled it out. So I'm not surprised. I know I was pushing it, but I didn't want to mess with that big branch, so I thought if I can chip it up, it's all the better. Now I got to get it out of there. I've done this before. You'd think I would learn my lesson, but when this happens, I need to open up the chipper and manually try and spin that flywheel in the opposite direction with the hydraulics engaged so that it will turn that take-in wheel backwards. The tractor can't even get the PTO going because it's still wedged in there to the take-up wheel. So the flywheel from behind spins in the clockwise rotation. I need to manually pull it in the counterclockwise rotation. In order to do that, I need to disengage the PTO. Not only do I disengage the PTO on this tractor, I put the PTO in front PTO or mid PTO only, which completely disengages the rear PTO. But it's still tight as anything. I may need to wedge this or pry this with something. Yeah, that's not moving, and you have to be really careful because as much as I've used this thing, these cutting edges are still really sharp. You call that a chip? Now that's a chip. What? This post was already here, so I figure I might as well attach the gate to this post. It feels pretty solid. Rocks a little bit. I don't know how deep it is, but again, this is temporary. So, and here's the other thing. You know, we moved 9 months ago. I had several hinges for the post these guys, and I can't find them anywhere. So I found one. I had to go to Tractor Supply and buy another one. I'll find the other ones eventually, but those are the kind of things when you get disorganized and discombobulated. But it's all right. It's all right. I'm gonna mount these, and that'll get the gate on. If you've never put one of these gate hinges on, you put this hinge on facing down, and then you slide the bracket up onto it, and that prevents the gate from being able to be lifted off. Not critical with a lamb, but with livestock, with cattle, horses, you want to do that because they could get their nose under it and technically lift that off. But I'm going to do it this way just because I don't want anybody to come over and say, you know, you were supposed to put that on upside down. So that's my plan. I've got this livestock panel that I've had for, I bet you 30 years. And boy, I don't know what I paid for it, but I wish I would have bought like 20 of them back then. Anyway, this makes for really nice, quick, heavy-duty, temporary fencing. Now, if you do any kind of fence installation at all, you want to have a pair of fence pliers. These are a handy multi-purpose tool. They're used for pulling staples, for nailing staples, for pulling wire, twisting wire. They're a multi-purpose fencing tool, and they're super handy. These staples can be a challenge sometimes to hammer into place. Because they're rounded at the top, you often hit your fingers when you're trying to staple them in. I've seen this thing circulating on the internet lately, and as they say, I was today years old when I learned that these pliers have 2 holes in them. The fence staple fits perfectly into those holes, and then you can take your hammer and bang the staple in, keeping your fingers clear. Brilliant! Let's see what Ann's doing.
What is Ann doing?
What are you working on?
I am getting new bedding for Irma because unlike Hachi, Irma poops and pees where she sleeps. So it needs to be changed.
They're not clean animals like dogs
Oh gosh,
and cats.
no. When I was like rubbing her today just to get the hair off, and my hands were filthy. And she looks pure white.
She looks it, but she's not.
Yeah. Okay.
Nice, Irma, nice.
Go.
Another marketplace find. I got this post driver yesterday for $15. I did spray paint it. It wasn't in bad shape. It just had surface rust on it and some chip paint. I had a half a can of red spray paint, so I thought I'm just gonna paint it. $15. Can't beat that. When you buy new T-posts, they come with these wire clips. I'm sure you can buy them separately. I just happen to have a coffee can of them laying around. They're really made for thinner wire than this, but we'll see if we can get it around there. Just stretch it a little bit. Bend it more than stretch it. There we go. Yeah, not really made for this kind of thick wire, but that works. That should keep her in. course, I wasn't recording, but I was trying to bring that tree in here so I could keep the wood chip pile together, and the tree snagged my ladder and it fell on my fence, of course. So once again, nothing feels done, but we got a lot done today. The fence is in place, so now Irma can stay in this little field here, and this can be her new home. I'm still going to let her out during the day because the grass is much better on the other side of the fence, of course. But we have to at least have a place to put her away when she starts eating the flowers and other garden items. Boy, I'm out of breath because that was a lot of work. But anyway, so the fence is done. The temporary fence is done. The wood chipping, it's continuous, but we got a lot of it done. I'm clearing around the whole fence area, so bit by bit, it gets done. You don't always feel accomplished, but you have to take a step back and look at the bigger picture. Anyway, I'm gonna go get a drink of iced tea. Thanks for watching, and I look forward to seeing you next time.